Yes. Oh, it's still distorted. Is it all right now? Okay, now cool. Yeah, I just have to tweak the settings. Just literally put it on the same driver. Put it on a different driver, then put it on the same driver it was once. Once was on, and it's okay. It's weird. Don't know why. But yeah. Oh. I guess it's the camera. I could get a new one, but I could end up with the same problem. You know, there's no guarantee that it will work. I was looking at cameras actually. You know, they cost quite a bit. You know, for a 4K one, something like that. You know, you're looking about 40, 50, 60 quid, maybe more. I don't even need a 4K because I can't even use 4K in StreamYard. You know, I think the best I can do is 720p. I think, and then if you want proper HD in StreamYard, you're going to have to pay for it. You're right, Jason. Yeah, I probably could, but it still plays up. I had a separate mic I was using, and it was still playing up. It's still by default keep going to the camera one. It's a bit annoying, but anyway. Hope you're having a good start to the weekend. Yeah, it's okay. How are you, Jason? There wasn't a live stream yesterday, was there, regarding Ian? I think he was a bit unwell. Sweaty as hell. Yeah, it is muggy, isn't it? It's muggy and it's humid. You're right, Jenny. I'm doing a video shortly of my top 20 indie albums. I've compiled them right in front of me. It's actually what the microphone sits on at the moment. Pile of CDs. Well, the camera is a little bit old. It's, I think, 2007. So it could be, you know, could be that. I'm just reluctant to spend the money, really. I've already bought a few PC odds and ends quite recently, actually. Just brought a new monitor for one. Yeah, I like indie. Although my indie tastes are sort of limited, really, you know, to the sort of late 80s to about the mid 2000s. So after then, it gets a bit gets a bit thin. I should really delve into getting more modern-ish indie albums, looking out for, you know, good indie albums. I suppose, like the majority of us, I'm kind of stuck in the past regarding music, you know. Certain eras for certain genres. Got certain albums where I love that album. You know, I love the album. I love that artwork. You know, some of those songs I can relate to. You know, I've been through those emotions and things. You know, some albums are just like old friends, aren't they? Yeah, that could be possible, Hobbs. Um, have a look on the website. It is a Logitech, so I mean they're still going, aren't they? They're still making stuff. So I'll have a look, see if there's an update. I got a feeling it's probably um, this what I'm using live stream. It doesn't agree with. Yeah, probably. I should look into it, really, shouldn't I? Did I find any more about the Tears for Fears album? Yes, I did. Stevie contacted me. He said he went to a local record shop of his who sort of in the know regarding Abbey Road Studio um, records, and they said that Songs for the Big Chair album um, hasn't been released yet. It looks like it's going to be released, but it hasn't been released yet. He said, "It looks like you're potentially rich." So yeah, that's kind of like news to me, really, because I didn't know, and he confirmed it. I thought it might be the case, but he's confirmed it. So, excuse me. Ah, Get dry hands. Does anyone suffer by dry hands, dry skin on their hands? Yeah, about the same for me. Some 70s indie is good late 70s till early 90s. Don't know much about indie after that. Jenny says, I watched a video where someone did a study about musical tastes. They concluded most folks prefer stuff from the time they were independently chose music, and then it usually stays right there. Yeah, it does. It's our generation, that's why. I take it by that you're referring to. You're roughly the same age as me, are you? Getting quite a bit of buffering going on. I don't know if it's me or you. Well, it's fine this end, so I'll say what I know. Possibly you this time. Got a tub of water for my feet. You suffering then, Jason? Yeah, I had a look at some videos which are done about indie music, people's top 10, top 20 or whatever. And some of the albums I saw on the videos aren't really indie. I'll say some were alternative, other stuff, And some, there's another video I saw, I didn't know anything. Any of the albums, I guess they're all kind of American ones, sort of 2000s and onwards. Not really familiar with anything sort of, I don't know, 2017 onwards gets a bit fine. You're 56. You're a bit older than me. You're more near Jason's age. Back in the early 90s, did you use all these subgenre names we hear today? I did not. No, I haven't until I started becoming a YouTuber and watching VC videos really and learning about genres. And I knew about indie, I knew about pop and rock and the basic stuff. But when it comes to subgenres, no, not at all. And I've always had quite an eclectic taste, really. I've always liked a bit of everything. There's certain eras you would have maybe a certain amount of genres to that era, to that decade. In a different decade, it would be a different lot of genres. 70s, 80s, 90s. Because music changes, doesn't it, through the years? You end up with different genres. And I would say 90s was primarily a decade for indie music because of the bands of the time, such as Stone Roses, Oasis, The Verve, etc., etc. But indie has changed. It's more. It's a greater mix now to indie. It's a lot more electronic, isn't it? It's a lot more electronic sound. it used to be sort of very strictly bands, you know, guitars and, you know, drums and, you know, but now it's it's changed quite dramatically. Yeah, Ray's still going. He just done a live stream. He doesn't have like a set time or anything. I don't think he just does on the fly live streams. Astro Zombie knows, don't you? He was on a bit earlier, yeah. Yeah, indie means independent. Yeah. Now Arctic Monkeys are called Indie Band with a big label and get pushed massively. Yeah, I always think Arctic Monkeys are a bit overrated. It never really did anything for me, Arctic Monkeys. But they've been going for some time now, haven't they? There isn't any Arctic Monkeys in my top 20 list. And I decided to do for my list one band per album, because if I was to do Blur or Oasis or anything like that, you know, it'd just be, you know, half of their library would end up in the top 30 list or whatever, you know. So I thought, no, I have to sort of whittle it down to just the one, keep things even. You didn't know indie music was still a thing? Yeah, it's still a thing, still going. Yeah. I seem to have a pattern where I'll stop buying vinyl for a little bit, then I go back to it, and then I have a break, and I go back to it, and I kind of flicker between kind of buying 7-inch singles, then albums, then 7-inch singles, then albums, you know, and then I go for a break, and I might just sort of buy charity shop odds and ends like CDs, maybe the odd vinyl. I mean, vinyl's becoming increasingly difficult to find in charity shops. I find recently, maybe in the last year or two, to find decent stuff in charity shops now. I know it's out there, but I'm just not coming across it. When I started, the first couple of years of starting vinyl collecting, I come across great stuff in charity shops. Like really quickly, I quickly amassed quite a collection. You know, I was finding really good albums for like £1 or whatever. You know, I can remember picking up a New Order Substance comp. I paid 49p for it, and I also had other decent albums in the store at the same time for like 49p. I just got really lucky. I mean, that's like an 80 quid compilation, that is. I knew it had some worth when I saw it. I didn't know exactly how much, but now I go in charity shop. I'm just trolling through crap all the time. You know, sometimes I can't even be bothered to look through, because I know straight away what's in there. You know, I can see the first record or whatever, and just think, no, no, it's just going to be a load of crap. Stevie, he finds pretty good stuff, from his local charity shops quite regularly. It's odd, isn't it? I don't know what's happened in my area. It's been quite good for so long, and then the last couple of years, I'd probably say it just seemed to have dipped off. I don't class popular music like the Arctic Monkeys as indie, really. Maybe in the early days. Oh, they are. They are indie. There's no doubt about it. Prices are always rising on vinyl releases. Unfortunately, like stupid prices. Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling in the last couple of years, more and more people have jumped onto it. It seems now like when I go in a charity shop, a lot more people are looking in the cabinets, looking through the bins at vinyl. And it seemed a little bit before the last couple of years, there's a little bit less interest. But now it appears to be a lot more people are going through records, even if it's just sort of the basic usual 80s stuff. They're picking out records, they're buying anything, they're buying everything up. I look at people go through records and I think, why do you want that? It's crap. There you go. They're all doing it. And a lot of them are flipping them as well. Do you ever go into like charity shops or things like of that nature, and you see people looking through the records or certain objects, and then they're straight on their phone, and you know what they're doing. They're going onto the likes of eBay or whatever, trying to find out the price so they can flip it. I find that a bit of a cheek, really. To go in a shop and do that in front of everybody, in front of the staff, in front of the people that work there. It's a bit of a cheek. I mean, admittedly, I've done it myself, but not. I don't make it too obvious. I might go to a different part of the room or something, and have a quick look at my phone. Or they literally just get their phone out, right in front of them, and don't care who's looking. Jenny knows. Yep, reverse image searching like mad in our charity shops. Not discreet in the slightest. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. I haven't been in there in years, Jason. I, you know, I don't bother. They've always been that way. It's always been a junk shop, that one. I know what you're talking about. It was called Granny's Attic, wasn't it? No, no, they're not. I even see them do it in record shops. And they're straight onto Discogs. Chicka ching, the pound side sounds are the pound signs are there, aren't they? No, I can't say I am, to be honest with you. I think I have a couple of their albums. Granny's Attic could be a horror movie. Yeah, could be. I actually went out to Brighton, which is a city near me. I went down the lanes. There's a part of Brighton called the Lanes. Some of you would know, of course. Have a look round. I saw one record shop, so I popped in, and it was all new vinyl. I was actually wanting to find some second-hand record shop, but this was this one, so it happened to be all new. And the prices, wow, like so expensive. I had a decent look round, and I found maybe one record which I thought was reasonably priced for about 17 quid. The rest of the vinyl sort of was sort of, I don't know, 25 quid, 30 quid, 40 quid, just for sort of ordinary kind of records, I didn't buy anything. I went in there, went out, and so nah, that was the point. I can get most of that a lot cheaper online. What I don't know why people would pay that kind of money, but obviously someone must do. I got some good stuff coming. I used a little site called Vinyl on the net. Jimmy recommended them to me. All right, I'll have a look at that then. Vinyl. Only ever been to Brighton once. Once, really? I found a Rolling Stones 45 a few days ago for 50 cents. The song Stoned, misprinted as Stones. How to tell a true first press. 50 cents. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? Was it in good condition? Or was it a bit scratched up? I don't tend to buy 45s anymore of this, just in their generic sleeves. I like buying the picture sleeve ones. Unless it's something I really want, I will get it in any plain sleeve. But generally, I tend to stay away from them unless it is like the Stones or a certain band which I have an interest in. I quite like 90s vinyl, you know. There's a lot of sort of mid 90s songs I wouldn't mind having on vinyl. And it's silly in a way because, you know, primarily that era, that time, they're all on CD singles, weren't they? You know, why would you want them on vinyl? But I suppose it's the collector in me that wants them in my collection. You don't seem to see a lot of 80s singles, do you? When did they start doing singles on CD in the 80s? Because you see like the 7-inch singles on vinyl of 80s, you know, they're in abundance, isn't there? But you don't see CD singles in the 80s. There must be some, surely. I mean, there are 90s stuff out there floating around in charity shops. One of the owners of a local charity shop is always trying to get me to buy huge lots of records. He thinks there is a resale value in them, but they are trashed. Gross records, all of them, nope. Yeah. They've got to be in good condition, haven't they? I mean, otherwise you're just buying it to fill a gap in your collection. If it's let's say it's an album you wanted and it's completely is wrecked, basically. Do you buy it? If it was cheap enough, but let's say it was £1, would you buy it? Depends what it was it, wouldn't it? It depended what it have to be. Has anyone actually brought a record where you knew it was fucked, basically, but you wanted it in your collection regardless? You just want it there as a showpiece, you know, just to sort of look at it, basically, you know, not actually to play it, but just something to have, and then later get an upgrade on. I can't recall myself doing it myself. I mean, I brought, you know, OK records, you know, stuff from sort of average and upgraded stuff in the past, but nothing completely trashed. Those 60s Decca singles sound brilliant. They do, yeah, they do. Anything Decca are top quality. I think Decca are looked upon as the best regarding classical music as well. They're looked upon very highly. I don't get it for classical music. I know there's people who collect classical vinyl, but it doesn't sound as good on vinyl, classical music, like it does on CD. I suppose it's because on a CD it has a harshness to it on CD, doesn't it? And vinyl, is a bit more smoothed out, a bit more. Well, it's analog. It doesn't have that quite that sharpness to it. I mean, I have a few classical pieces, but not many. Jenny says, I have brought lots of rough records just to hear them. I have brought a few rough ones, you know, but luckily they're about playable, just about playable. I've had, you know, I've had good looking records and they just, it won't play, you just get stuck or whatever, you know. And I brought rough ones before and they play through. Might sound a bit scratchy or a bit bad in places, but yeah. Now I had to get decent copies. I had the odd one I hear of one or two. Didn't spot the scratch first of. Yeah, I mean, I saw a Status Quo album which I hadn't got a few months ago in a charity shop, and I looked at the record and it was all scratched. I thought, no, I can't be bothered with that. I'll put it back. I know it's only Status Quo. I know, yeah. Some people like Status Quo. I only have two 80s CD singles. Blondie's Denise 88 remix and Chris Ria's. Oh, okay. You don't see them, do you? You don't see 80s singles on CD. Is it because there was a limited release, you reckon? Or they've been binned the last 30 years or so? What's happened? '87 was when CD singles were first counted in the UK charts. I didn't know that. Did not know that. And it was around the early 80s the CD came out, wasn't it? I think it was 81, I think, if I remember correctly. So it took a few years, didn't it? All right, so there was a limited run on CDs in the 80s regarding the singles then. I suppose in the 80s vinyl was probably at near its peak really, because you had 12-inch singles, you had 7-inch singles, and you had the LP. I mean, really, the 80s in a way was kind of the last of the best decade, wasn't it, for vinyl? Because when you come into the 90s, and it all just crashed, didn't it, really? And it obviously came back later on. It didn't completely go away, of course, but you didn't get a CD player till '88. God, '88 sounds years ago, you know. I didn't get a CD player for quite some time. My brother had a CD player a good few years before I did, growing up. And he brought like the Oasis albums and sort of around about the mid 90s, I suppose it would have been. And I suppose it was towards the late 90s I brought a CD player. I was just relying on tapes. I was still recording tapes then, recording from the radio and what have you. You'd get the top 40, wouldn't you, on the Sunday? And, you'd listen to it. And they always played the number one from the week before. Usually it was uninterrupted, so you usually get the whole song if you were lucky. And then they would go into the top 40. Everything mattered, didn't it, back then? And I'm sure this would be a case for a lot of you, sort of like in the 80s and later, listening to the top 40 on the radio. It mattered where the what songs went up, down. It mattered where they charted. I mean, there's no interest there for me now. It's just like meh, just not interested in that mainstream stuff anymore. But back then, I was. I was really bummed out when Oasis Wonderwall didn't make number one. It was like, oh man, it still hurts now. '91 was your first CD player. My first CD player, 1905. I still brought LPs as CDs were so expensive. After like the sort of death of vinyl in the 90s, did anyone think vinyl would come back? Because I didn't. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting to start a vinyl record collection. It just happened. I think I sort of lived through my 20s, and towards my late 20s, I started wanting things of my past, Primarily, it was video games, and and music as well, but majority of it was CDs, I suppose. And then I just came into vinyl. I'm not even sure why. I'm not even sure why. Yes. I left my glasses. So, where are they? I'm pretty sure I did. I don't know. I'm not even sure why I got into vinyl when I did. I can remember collecting video games for some time, and I amassed quite a collection. And I was watching a lot of YouTube videos about retro gaming, and then I just started watching, probably by chance, stuff about vinyl, and it kind of whet my appetite, I'd say, of just going down that road and going back to vinyl, buying a few records which maybe I wanted but never got, some rarities which I've not found on sort of CD or digitally, basically. And I just ended up buying a cheap turntable, and mostly I was buying 12-inch singles. And then I was looking around in cherry shops for albums, and just a few albums picked up, which I had a bit of interest in. And then I thought about some of the vinyl records I had in the past, which I no longer had, getting those back. And then some from mum and dad's collection. I thought, oh yeah, no, I wouldn't mind a few 45s of my father's, like the Kinks or bands like that, 60s bands. And some of that sort of 80s pop music, 70s and 80s pop music my mum used to sort of listen to. So I started acquiring those from charity shops. And it just grew and grew and grew. There's a new Smashing Pumpkins album. I didn't know that. The new Jack White album. I got one Jack White album. I need to start getting a few albums. There's a few albums I've neglected to get, and I want them in my collection. Modern albums I'm talking about. I'm not too bothered whether I get it on vinyl now, a new album, whether I get it on vinyl or on CD. There's pros and cons to both. If I get it on CD, if I get a new album on CD, it'll be ripped to my computer and it'll end up in my iTunes and on my iPod. It'll be played. If I get it on vinyl, it will probably just stay mostly on the shelf for most of its life, with perhaps a handful of plays. I'll probably record it to my computer eventually using Audacity. It's more of a collector's piece, if I find, with vinyl. It's more of a novelty. I mean, it depends what it is. Depends what it is, how old it is. whether you care if you play it regularly or not. You know, I've got some records I don't mind playing, and there's some records I don't want to play. You know, I want to leave it alone. Yeah, I'm not bothered about that with CDs. It doesn't bother me. You all right, Jason?
Hello, mate. All right.
Yeah, you?
Aye, suffering.
The heat.
It's I think it's hay fever as well.
Oh dear.
It's as scratchy as anything.
Oh, that's horrible.
But it is what it is, isn't it? You can't do nothing about it. So
I get a touch of that here and there, you know.
yeah. Well, it's weird. It's been last year. It was absolutely fine, apart from a bit of sneezing. This year, it's the eyes.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? How it affects you 1 year to the next.
Just bringing up chat properly a minute. Right, you'll have to forgive me if I don't see it very well, but it's as I say, the eyes are playing havoc tonight. So
yeah, exactly. Astro Zombie CDs are brilliant, aren't they? Put it on, no flipping, just a nice playthrough.
Yeah. Thing is, some people don't, but a lot of people aren't even bothered about that, though, are they? It's just streaming and that's it. That's all they want.
Yeah. Well, I don't stream, so.
Mine tends to be, well, like for argument's sake, some of the guys have recommended albums and stuff. So, then I have a listen on Spotify or whatever and see whether I like it or not. But that's the main reason. Or if it's a set single, I just look it up on YouTube.
Yeah. I get it. I get the appeal on why people use it. It's just I don't.
But no, I'd rather have it and be able to just put it on and.
Yeah, I mean, I should do that really. I should get myself an account and whatever. But I don't like the idea of paying money per month for music. I just don't like that.
Yeah.
To rent music.
I was going to say, I just have the free Spotify with the adverts on. I don't worry about it.
All right.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to pay for it. It's not that for a laugh. I mean, in that case, you might as well just go and buy the album anyway.
I didn't even know there was a free service.
Yeah, for Spotify there is, yeah.
There is.
But yeah, it's like every 2 or 3 songs it plays an advert.
Right.
Which is annoying. But they obviously do that. They do that deliberately so that people will,
right.
Sign up for it.
Have you still got? Is there still like an unlimited range on free Spotify where you can go anywhere, or is it shortened?
I don't know. I mean, there's some stuff I haven't been able to find, but I think that's just because what Spotify's got licensed.
Right.
I don't really know, to be honest.
Right.
I would assume everything's available. I suppose there could be premium content, shall we say? A bit like with Amazon, you pay for the subscription, and then like most of it's free, apart from say like a few movies.
Right.
That sort. I think that's the sort of way that it works, but I wouldn't swear to that.
I don't know what it is with me. I just don't. I like being independent and having my own stuff. I like having my own movies. I like having my own music. Having my own computer, my own way of collecting things digitally without relying on any kind of service. I mean, I go on to like the likes of Amazon Prime, and I browse through and stuff, but I don't do it very often. Normally I do it my own way through the way I want to do it.
Well, to be fair, I got a very generous friend, so that whenever he gets an account with something, he'll share it with me.
Yeah.
So the only one I pay for is Amazon, and that's useful as well because of the shopping and stuff. So it works out in the end. I mean, £8, £9 a month is not too bad. But I wouldn't pay for all of them.
I like to own something. I like to
Oh yeah.
I have something and know that it's there when I want it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be fooled in thinking, oh, this place has got the Sopranos series on there.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. I don't have to worry about ever owning that. Okay. I'll go on there. Suddenly they take it away like that.
That does happen.
That's gutting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, well, I don't have it then now because you've taken it away. When is that going to come back? You're sort of left unknown of when it's going to come back.
No, I mean it's useful for. It's useful for me. I think it's useful, not so much for music, but for movies. It's somewhat more useful because, you can try it out, watch it whenever you want, until obviously they do take it away. But I think if it's a dedicated one, say like Disney, they probably wouldn't take anything away.
Yeah.
Netflix, if it's their own stuff, they won't. It's all down to licensing, isn't it? A lot of the time.
Yeah, and it's unknown. It's unknown to the person who's with them. They don't know it's been taken away until you have a look. They don't tell you necessarily. It's like someone going into your house and helping them to a bunch of CDs, and they walk out with them from your house.
Yep.
You don't know that's happened. You come in there and you think, well, where's that Oasis album? And I can't find it. It's the same. It's like someone's pinching stuff from you.
No. Maybe I've had that. I've had stuff go missing, and I've no idea why it's gone missing.
Yeah, I've had that. Yeah.
I swear. Like, do you remember Beats International?
Not really. No.
Norman Cook's one of Norman Cook's band before we became Fatboy Slim.
All right.
They did a song called "Don't Be Good to Me."
Right.
Anyway, I swear that I had an album on vinyl, right? And there was a limited edition. It came with a limited edition remix. And can I find either of them?
No.
They just vanished. And I've been through every single record I own, and I cannot find them.
I've had CDs.
What the hell happened to it?
Past, where I went and ripped all my CDs to my computer in the last couple of years or whatever. It took me ages. But then I had like a stack of CDs where the CD wasn't in the case.
No.
And I was just bewildered of where it's gone because it literally, to me, has just disappeared. I've not seen it anywhere. I've been through everything. I've been through my car. It's it must have. It must have been in the car at some point and fallen out. It's the only.
Did you change your car in between? So you left it in the stereo when you sold your car?
I'm not really one for doing that. I always eject stuff. If possible. I mean, I think it's probably fallen out the door card. Maybe I had it stacked up in the door card. I opened the door and it rolled out or something without me knowing. But other than that, I have no other explanation for why these albums were missing.
The one that really bugs me is I had the original Bomb the Bass Into the Dragon CD. And that was without any of the remixes. That's gone missing. Where it's gone, I do not. So I ended up buying another one, and it's got the remixes on. I want the one with the original.
Yeah.
The remixes is fine, but I wanted it, as it was when it was first released. And I swear that I took it to a mate's house, right, and someone nicked it.
Possibly.
Yeah, and I just picked up my CDs afterwards, didn't look through them to see. My mate wouldn't have done it himself, but also, someone that was at the party probably thought, I'll have that, and waltzed off with it.
Didn't leave them in the CD player.
No.
No,
He never. I did ask him. He never found it.
no.
You know, and
Well, I've lent things to friends before, like DVDs and stuff, and they end
Yeah.
up losing them, or so they said.
Yeah.
And you're at their mercy, aren't you? You just have to sort of accept what they say to you. You know, they might have nicked them for all you know.
Yeah. Well, most of mine, you know, that particular person I trust, you know, 100%.
Yeah.
And I got a funny feeling he ended up buying it years later anyway himself. So, you know,
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, you know, it's like anything else, isn't it? You put it down somewhere, and it just vanishes, and you never see it again.
All right then, Ian. It's glad you're feeling better. You're better.
Yeah, no, good to see you on, mate. Yeah, get yourself sorted out. Do that tub of water, because I've got my feet in water right now, and it's helping a heck of a lot. It's cooling me down a lot. Because the humidity today has been really getting to me.
Yeah, it's been a warm week this week, hasn't it?
Well, I'm supposed to be doing my park run tomorrow, and I'm not sure. It's going to have to be cool, otherwise, if it's more than 24, then there's no way I'm doing it.
Well, I've heard we're expecting a bit of rain tomorrow, so I imagine.
Oh, that'll be all right. I'm quite happy running the rain.
Yeah, I don't know how much rain. It'd probably be like the odd shower, but I don't know.
That's all right. If it makes it cooler, that's fine.
I think you might be all right tomorrow.
Yeah. No, I know what it's like to be in, because I know Ian said he was getting heat stroke, and that's horrible. That's really nasty.
Yeah,
makes you feel like absolute crap.
Yeah, it can be serious. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
people. Bad. Well, I know you're saying about the Olympics earlier and that. I have been watching it, and they had the triathlon on.
Right.
And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, they're doing, I can't remember what it was, but it's something like 10K running, 7K cycling, then a hell of a lot of swimming in the reverse order, I might add. You know, they're going for 2 hours straight, and I'm thinking, it's sweaty as hell.
Yeah.
How the hell do you manage it? And they were collapsing when they got over the finish line. They just went collapsing in the heap. I was like, sod that for a laugh.
Yeah.
And I don't mind, exercise is fine, but not if you're going to be so shagged out you can't do anything else for about a week or so,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got on the bike, on my push bike earlier in the week.
Yeah.
And I got over halfway on my journey. I started to feel a bit rough. And I had to pull over because I was starting to feel sick.
Yeah.
Because of the heat, and I suppose the sort of up early in the morning, that sort of.
Did you have much to drink before you went out, or?
I had a bit, during the night and in the morning, and that I wasn't dehydrated or anything.
Just
stuff. It's just I just suppose that it was the heat and the sudden sort of up and being active early in the morning like that. It just got to me a bit,
It's possible, yeah. I do find it's better to get out early in the morning though, because it's usually cooler.
Yeah. But I don't really eat anything in the morning, so like.
Oh well, I'm the same. It doesn't help.
No, it doesn't take a lot for me to burn out in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happened. So.
Yeah. Oh. All right, we could recording with Richard tomorrow. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I know. He did say what he was going to be doing, and I can't for the life of me remember. I think it was one I was quite looking forward to, but I can't remember what the heck it was now.
Wasn't he doing singles which should have made the top 20 or something like that?
Could have been.
The
I
top
don't
10.
know. Sorry, that's the other thing with the heat. You keep getting brain farts. You can't even think straight half the time. It's too much effort to think properly.
I know. It becomes an effort to talk sometimes, doesn't it? In the heat, you just want to be quiet sometimes, not say anything.
Yeah, too much effort.
Yeah, it is. It becomes an effort.
Yeah. I just you got anything planned for the weekend? Really? Are you just going to relax?
I got a few things on, but I'm not sure if I want to do them or not.
Yeah.
I got a school reunion tomorrow.
Oh right, yeah. I think you said before.
Yeah, there's some mention at work about doing meeting up at a certain bar or something, for a drink and stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the other thing that kills you, right? I mean, in some ways, I wish I still liked beer, because that was one thing you used to do in the summer. You just have a nice, cool beer, and it's quite a long drink.
Yeah.
You can make it last. You didn't need many, but just sit there with a nice, cool drink, right, in the pub, and it was fine. But I don't think I could. I don't think I could drink a skinful in this weather. Not now. Not the age I am.
Really? Not even one pint?
Well, no. Well, I mean, I don't drink beer, but I'd have a rum or something, or a cocktail or something like that.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. But no, I'm not. I used to drink loads. Not alcoholic levels or anything like that. But when I went out, I had a fair old session, and I can't. The body just won't let me now. I have two or three drinks, I start getting a headache.
I went back to that pub we went into,
Oh
last
yeah,
week.
yeah.
Yeah, sort of sat in there, had a pint. I was only on my own. I just got myself a lunch,
Yeah.
Sat in the beer garden.
Oh no, I was sorry to hear that. David has got, yeah. Oh, is that a joke? I don't know if that's a joke or not. I'm not sure on that one. You read it?
I can't see it right now. I've got something going over it.
All right, okay. That might be a joke. I'm not sure. If it's not a joke, I apologise. Just the way it's worded, it suddenly sounded like a joke.
I think it's a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that all the time, Ian. People taking their dogs out in the heat early in the mornings.
Yeah.
Not really even thinking about how hot the ground is going to be, on their poor feet.
No.
I hate that. Really irresponsible.
Yeah. I mean, my dad with his dog. I mean, she's a hearing dog, so really, when they've got to go out, she's got to go with them. But he tries not to.
Yeah.
She does suffer with the heat. Yeah.
See you. See you later.
See you later, mate. Take care. Hope you feel better soon. What's that? Oh.
How many records do you think you buy in a month?
It varies considerably. I mean, I don't think I bought anything last month, and yet just that vinyl and the next thing. I think I've got about 10 records coming.
Yeah.
It depends what's available. It depends what's available and how cheap it is.
From 0 to 10, that's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, but it happens like that,
Yeah.
I go through phases of buying stuff, right? Because you got to remember, I collect other things as well. Because I collect them Funko Pop things as well.
You go around
So
in circles, don't you? Like
Yeah.
from one thing to the other and then back again.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it depends what's new. You know,
yeah,
or I'll just go down. You know, I'll just go down. I'll think, oh, I haven't been into town for a while. We're going to town and have a look around. And then I'm not necessarily looking to buy anything, but I'll pop in and they, you know, if they got like a bargain bin or something like that, I'll go, oh yeah, I haven't got that. I like that. I'll have that. You know.
yeah.
So like when I got those, what was it? Them singles. What was it? 4 for £1. When I got those picture discs and everything. I know. I wasn't intending to buy them, but I thought they're cool. I'll have those.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
That was a bit of an impulse thing, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Well, you know what it was like when we went to those shops in around Bognor and that.
Yeah.
I know. Just. But I need to get another copy of that Batman one because it's not very good.
How is it not?
No, unfortunately, no. It's a shame, you know, because it's But I think I said to you, didn't I? It was an 80s reissue.
Yeah.
Because of the artwork. But that's one thing I've got. Really, I have a little spoiler for when I do get these records. I found a Spider-Man record. But it's not a theme tune or anything. It's a story. It's only about 5 minutes long, but it's like a, you know, like a dramatization thingy almost. They tell you what's going on, and you know, and it's definitely taken from like the 60s or something like that, I reckon, because of the way the storyline is, how sort of hokey it is.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was only a couple of quid, so I thought, oh yeah, you know, grab that as a bit of a novelty.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, I've got a few sort of comic related albums that are like legit albums, like proper music.
Yeah.
So I got that what's it, DC Comics Heavy Metal, right? Which was just like one of these big crossover thingies. And there was loads of bands did songs and that. Whether they were done for the series to accompany it, or whether it was just done as to, oh, these are just songs, you know, we like that fit. I don't know. I never really looked into it properly, but it's a double LP, I think, and it cost me 27.
How many things do you collect, Jason? Just out of interest.
What different types of things?
Different types of things.
4 maybe.
4.
4 types, yeah, probably. So collect me. Yeah, when I say music, I mean CDs, vinyl, whatever, right? All together.
Yeah. So what formats do you collect? Just out of interest.
CDs and vinyl, really, right? And that's any vinyl, singles or whatever.
What, cassettes?
Right. Not really. No. I mean, I've got a few. I have got quite a few. What I used to do when stuff came out, I would buy the CD single, the 7-inch, the 12-inch, the cassette, right? And cassettes I'm not really worried about now, so I've got ones that are probably worth a little bit, but only if people want the cassettes.
Yeah.
You know, so like De La Soul singles, I brought them all on single, the early ones, and then I just stopped.
I imagine a lot of new cassettes now aren't going to be played very much, if not at all, are they?
No, mine.
Because
mine
there's no need to play it.
Not really. No, mine. The ones I've got, you see, came in a bundle. So if you got such and such and such, the cassette came with it. You didn't have a choice of having it without the tape to get the bundle I wanted anyway.
I think cassettes are are really like a trinket, aren't they, for a lot of people
Yeah,
to decorate their bedrooms and stuff like that. You
I
know,
suppose mine had just sat on the shelf over there behind me.
mm,
You know, all the ones I'm really not bothered about, all in a cardboard box, waiting to sell them off at some point.
yeah.
But they're probably, you know, you're probably lucky if you get 50p each for them or anything. You know, people just don't want them.
No shops will have them. You have to go online and sell them.
What's that? Top dollar for what? Oh, I see, right. Yeah. They're just all about selling stuff. No, yeah, it's mainly records. I will get the occasional DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Although I've calmed down on that a lot lately. Partly because I'm getting a bit disenchanted with Marvel. It's not what it was.
Yeah, I went on like a massive DVD and Blu-ray pursuit over sort of Christmas time, and and into this year. And there's a few things I want to get on Blu-ray, but I'm just not willing to pay 50 quid for a box set at the moment.
Nah. I usually wait.
I'm just going to wait, see what Christmas brings and what birthdays bring and what I find in the shops, basically, and take my time.
I think one of the ones I don't know if it's been released on Blu-ray or not, because I've not seen it, but then I've not been looking for it. Is The Mandalorian. I wouldn't mind owning that, because I've got a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
And that's one of the better ones.
I wouldn't mind having The Sopranos on Blu-ray. I wouldn't mind having Boardwalk Empire box set.
Yeah.
Roswell Gummidge has come out on Blu-ray. I wouldn't mind.
Oh, the old one.
The old one, yeah.
Oh, excellent.
But the complete series is like over 100 odd quid.
Really?
Really?
Bloody hell! Can you buy them as individual? Can you buy them as individual volumes?
There is. I believe there's 2 volumes. Because they did the English series and they did the New Zealand one, didn't they? And I think you can buy those separately. I believe.
Because that's it. He goes abroad, doesn't he? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was any good. I don't think I ever saw it.
It was quite good, actually. I thought.
Yeah. I was just thinking. Reason I was wondering was because if it's on DVD for cheap, right? It's something I think my mum would like because she used to love the show. You see.
Well, it hasn't been remastered until now, until fairly recently. So, like, those DVDs are literally just from the tapes, unremastered. That's why they look rough.
Yeah.
So for the first time, ever, and they look clean and polished, and I
might have to have to investigate because my mum used to love that show. Well, I did. I mean, as a kid.
Yeah.
I
think it's on Prime. I think they're on Prime.
Oh right. What? So you can stream it then as well.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, is it BritBox? Is it called?
Oh right, no, I don't have that. BritBox.
Yeah. All right. No, I think that's on. I think that's on Prime.
I'll have a look. My folks don't stream stuff anyway, so apart from iPlayer or whatever, but then that's free.
Yeah, my folks don't. I'll tell you, why don't you hook your TV up to the internet? Then you can watch YouTube. And, you can have a few extra channels basically, but I didn't want to do it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're set in their ways, aren't they? What else do I get? Pop figures, obviously. I still get those from time to time.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the RoboCop ones coming out in September.
Yes, you said. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got the original re-release of RoboCop. That was all they did. Well, now
Right.
they've got and the new ones I think are more chrome based, so it's like proper metal.
Right.
So they've got RoboCop on his own, RoboCop Unmasked. Is it Clarence Bodecker or whatever his name is?
Boddicker.
Yeah,
Boddicker. Yeah.
yeah. So he's getting a release, and
Yeah.
the best one is ED 209, which I definitely want.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I don't get any others, ED 209 is the one I want.
Yeah. It's probably going to be my favorite film. I think that movie.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Love me.
Yeah. Way up there in my estimation.
Yeah, no, it's very good. I did like it a lot.
I saw a 4K release of it for sale. I might get it.
Yeah, is this one of these bundles?
No, it's the original movie on 4K.
Yeah, because they do a lot of 4K seem to be these treasury editions or whatever it is. And you get a poster and this extra disc and that extra disc and a coffee table book or whatever.
They could be different variations of it,
Yeah.
like a deluxe version and a basic standard one. I don't know. I've not really looked to it too deeply. I just wanted the movie really, but I can't even play it. So I've got no device to play a 4K.
It's just if you want it as a collector's set, really, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would watch it eventually had I get a device to play it later on.
I'm just seeing what what's this about Groovy Ghoulies? Because I used to watch that. Wax is a
Reincarnate.
How so? I thought Waxed was. Oh no, I'm thinking about the Chris. I'm thinking about the Vincent Price movie about where they were dipping people in wax. House of Wax, isn't it?
Yeah, Wax gets brought up quite a lot in the chat.
I don't know what Waxed is. I don't know what Waxed is. I've no idea.
You don't want to know either.
Oh, yes, I know. I think I know. Yeah, that's all right. Enough said.
Stay away.
Yeah. No, because Groovy Ghoulies was a good show. Remember that as a kid. Right. The old Frankenstein, he gets struck by lightning. He goes, "I needed that."
Don't really remember it.
No, it's before your time, I think, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. Oh, and the other things I've been collecting is the Star Wars Galaxy Micro Squadron.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've seen those little diddy ships.
No.
If I can drag one down without knocking the rest over.
Oh, don't chance it then.
That sort of thing.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So it's they're like, I mean, this is 20 quid, which is a fair bit of whack, but you get some little figures that sit in there as well. The best ones I've got is a Millennium Falcon because that makes noises, and even to the point where when you move it, it goes shoo shoo. So that's kind of cool. And a massive, really great big AT-AT with like laser gun noises and lights up and that.
I do collect some toys myself.
Yeah.
A bit of Lego, sort of like period Lego, maybe like the 90s or something like that. I might pick up. And I've got a load of die-cast cars like Matchbox of 80s and 90s. I still pick up when I see certain age vehicles. I thought, I haven't got that one. I might buy it.
It's a kind of childhood nostalgia thing, isn't it? To an extent.
It is, yeah, it is. I mean, I got one on my shelf of an old Matchbox vehicle. I just come across this in a charity shop. I thought, Ferrari,
Oh, that's cool though.
I get that. You know, for
Yeah,
like, I don't know, £2 or whatever it was. You know,
yeah. My
it's
dad liked. Sorry, go on.
it's the nostalgia, like you said, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, my dad's got. He's not got a lot, but he's got some like old motorbike models. Yeah, little dilly ones.
Yeah,
So like the old Triumph motorbikes and stuff, and old like yeah, I suppose what you call 1940s, 1950s vehicles with like advertising logos on them and stuff.
yeah,
So because he remembers obviously because he was born in '47,
yeah,
so obviously he remembers seeing them, the old Hovis truck or whatever
yeah, yeah,
going
yeah,
down the road, and
yeah,
now you wouldn't bother because they're all sort of like very universal. But at the
yeah.
time, it was like, oh, that's different.
A
Or
lot of them buy a lot of them buy like these yesteryear vehicles,
yeah,
don't they? And lorries and things like that. You know, of the 30s and 40s. You know,
yeah.
it's all nostalgia, really, isn't it? It's just every generation has a different era, a different period they're into. You know.
No, it's funny, and well, I don't know about the rest of the world, but certainly us English are very much hoarders anyway. We like to accumulate dust.
We do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. But yeah, I think the other aspect of it is well. I could never afford that when I was a kid or anything like it. Well, they didn't have that when I was a kid,
Yeah.
right?
You look at certain things you missed out on,
Yeah,
don't you? And you think, oh, now I'm older, I got more money, I can get it. You know, I finally had that, you know, that little piece or whatever it is, I can
yeah.
finally own it. You know,
There's one I know. I won't get one now, right? Because I sort of like seen it for what it is. But when I was a kid, I always wanted a set of rock and sock'em robots,
all
fighting
right,
robots thingy with with the triggers for
yeah.
the two hands. Yeah, I always
Yeah.
wanted one of them because I thought they looked great.
Some
And I
people
did.
collect action figures, don't they, and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I've got some action figures. I did when they started re-releasing the Star Wars ones. I did go a bit nuts for a while, but there's just too many. There's just
Yeah,
too many. Whereas with the Funko Pops variations, okay, they're bigger, but usually they're cheaper. I mean, now you're talking like 25 quid for an action figure, whereas the Funko's like 15 maybe.
right.
Depends on what one it is. Some of them a bit more expensive. But the other thing is, and then this is the thing that used to bug me as a kid, was when you played with the figures as a kid, you did you made up stories, didn't you? Right?
Yeah, yeah,
You made up your own stories, and you always wanted all the figures to be the same size, so they'd meet up, and they weren't.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you could have Star Wars meet Star Trek, or I don't know, Master Universe meets up with Thundercats or whatever. But they'd be different. So quite often they'd be different sizes, so it didn't really work, right?
yeah, yeah.
With the pops, I mean, I don't, I, most of mine are in box now. Anyway, I've put them all back in box again now because of space restrictions. But it was nice to have like them, different ones from different franchises mixing together. I had the T Rex from Jurassic Park, right? Stood next to Garth from Wayne's World. And imagine him being sort of somewhat startled by seeing this T Rex next to him.
I don't get the whole appeal to Funko Pops
No,
personally. It doesn't.
again, it's nostalgia. It's nostalgia.
Of course, it is. Yeah,
You
I
know,
understand that. You know, I understand it's the
yeah.
nostalgia of
I mean, they look weird, admittedly, with their black eyes and everything.
mm,
But some of them, I think, as well, is they never got released as action figures.
no,
Do you know what I mean?
no.
Um, well, I mean, okay. What I'm just thinking. I think there were Bill and Ted's action figures more recently, but I'm not sure they were at the time. And if they were from the cartoon. So I've got Bill and Ted. You know, there was. I mean, I'm just trying to think what else. Like the Crow. Yeah, I don't know if there were action figures for that, so I've got the Crow. There's all, you know, little bits and pieces. I've got the A-Team stuff, and a lot of them are pop rocks ones and music ones. So I've got like Kiss, Freddie Mercury, ZZ Top, and then you've got Run DMC, and Jam Master Jay's got his turntable and everything. So, you know, it's display pieces.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, I mean, if I had the space for it, because I did buy a few stands that are custom-made stands, but again, I just don't have the space for them, so they're being put away. But what I would have liked was to have like a band and like a diorama with like little, you know, they wouldn't necessarily work, but little writing rig and little amps and everything, you know.
Yeah,
that's the sort of, you know, I think that's the reason why I like them, is just because, you know, get, like I said, memories, and just stuff you might not have had, you know, you might not have been able to get otherwise, or when you did have them out of box, you had to rip into the boxes for the action figures, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right. Whereas this way, you can keep them. You keep the boxes for the most part.
Well, the action figures you're talking about are play sets, aren't they? Yeah, they're not collector's pieces.
No. Well, you say that, but people do collect them.
People collect them, yeah, but what I'm saying is they're not made for collectors as such, are they? They're not specifically aimed at collectors. They're aimed at kids of that generation, aren't they?
It depends. It depends on who you go. It depends on who they're made by, right? If it's like a new movie or something like that, then it's intended to be for kids. Right? It's intended to be played with, and a lot of kids will play with them. But would you really, if you spent 25 quid on an action figure, want to play with it?
Well, no.
There you go. You got like
kids will though, because they don't.
Yeah.
They don't grasp the idea of money, have they? You know, young kids.
No, I know that. Yeah.
You know, seem to care about how much it's valued at. They just open it and play with it, don't they?
Yeah. Well, you have got the. The Marvel Legends ones are very collectible. I mean, people do keep them in box, but you've got the pieces. You get like pieces that come with them, individual separate pieces. So you like build a figure. So you might build Apocalypse out of the X-Men. So you get an arm in one. You get one arm in one box, and so they can encourage you to buy them all, and then you rip them open, and then you can make the figure of this other character.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they. Do you remember they used to when they did action figures? You got so many proof of purchases you could do it a mail away. Buy you buy 6 Star Wars figures, right? And then you can send off. I think one was Boba Fett. You can send off for the original Boba Fett back when they were new. I've got one, but I bought it separately. It was Mace Windu from the Star Wars set.
Yeah.
So you did mailaways. When you're buying boxes, do you remember buying boxes of cereals and they had free offers?
Yeah.
So that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what they would do with that. It's like, well, we're encouraging people to buy all these figures so that they can build the other figure that they want.
I love that of my childhood of looking on the back of cereals and collecting so many tokens and sending off for them. I loved all that,
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Whatever it is you're after,
Well, the other thing, of course, you used to get toys and stuff in there, didn't you?
You did, yeah, you did.
They're not allowed to do that anymore for whatever reason.
No, no.
which is a shame. Because
We
we
were
used to
lucky,
get some
weren't
good
we?
little stuff.
Yeah, we did.
I remember. Do you remember the little frisbees you used to get? Right, and they had like a flicker, and you pulled back on the frisbee, and it flicked it, and it would shoot off. You remember them?
Yeah, yeah, I remember them. Yeah,
Yeah, I used to love those.
yeah,
I've got the one that I really liked, and I think I told you about this before. I've got a De La Soul record, right? That came they were on a box of Rice Krispies,
yeah.
but you couldn't peel it off because otherwise you knacker it. So you had to. So it was a flexi disc, but not a flexi disc because you had to cut around the cardboard to get it off.
Everything seemed to like be a fad, didn't it, in school? Like,
Yeah.
You know, it would be, I don't know, little Kinder Egg surprise models or something like that. And then
You used to collect them, yeah.
And then it was Monster in your pocket, or you know, or it was this, or it was that, or you know, and it moved on to something else all the time.
Well, they do a lot of now these sort of blind bag things for kids. I mean, I got a few things when they used to do them a lot. They had like mystery minis, so like little Disney Star Wars figures, or whatever. I've got a few of those, and there was some Batman from the Black and White series, right?
Yeah.
Comic book series. So it's little statuettes. The thing that seems to be the thing now is these food ones. So like, do you remember the old? You used to have these kids play sets where you had all these food items. You had your own greengrocer and you had a till and everything.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that. So
Yeah.
you get like a little tiny tin of Spam or something like that, or
Oh,
you know,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, very American sort of idea.
Yeah.
And you know, you get like 4 or 5 different branded items in there. So they'd obviously got the license to reproduce them, stuff like that. And then
I think kids of today, or teenagers even, are deprived of a lot of this stuff what we once had.
They are.
It's very much, they have their video games, and that seems to be pretty much their go-to, isn't it? They didn't necessarily have all this stuff, which we did have.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know a lot of reason why, but I remember having the old green toy soldiers.
I did, yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I've not seen them anywhere in toy shops.
No,
I don't know. I don't even know if you can.
I even had like the Airfix ones. I got into those sort of in my teenage years.
The kits and
yeah. I had like lots of World War II tanks. I used to collect.
I did for a while.
Old Lesney, which is like Matchbox. Tanks as well, and I can remember all that. You know, Subbuteo.
I love Subbuteo.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw a box set of Subbuteo in a charity shop today.
Yeah.
And it was from about 2004. So it's kind of like late Subbuteo. And like the players were like, they had the sort of like the bottoms to them, you know, that kind of D sort of shaped dome. But the actual player was paper. It was like a photograph.
Paper?
It was made out of card, yeah.
That's rubbish.
Yeah, I know.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, the plastic ones were bad enough for getting damaged. You can only imagine what's going to happen to the paper cardboard ones.
Yeah, I know.
You know, that's ridiculous.
But it had its own little cotton pitch in there.
Yeah,
and it had like this kind of support, which kind of bows over the pitch in both angles.
Got you. Yeah.
You know, to hold it taut, basically, and
what did I have? Because I think mine was an old 60s set, right?
This was something I saw today in a shot. It's not something I owned.
Yeah. Well, no, I used to.
Yeah.
And I had like an old 60s set, so I had and I can't remember who I got it from. I think it was from family friends, as the boys had grown out of it, so they gave it to me. And I had 2 pitches. I had a carton full of battery-operated stadium spotlights. So you've got like the 12 lights or whatever it is shining through. Yeah, I had those. I had Arsenal, Southampton, Liverpool, and England squads. They all ended up getting broken, right?
Yeah.
And you had to go. Well, some of them were so old, right? Instead of having the plastic handle for the goalie, you had like a metal wire.
Yeah.
Right, for the goalies. Instead, I think they got rid of them because people hurt themselves on the metal. What else did I have? Yeah, no, this is mainly it, and then obviously some goals and stuff as well. But yeah, they all ended up getting damaged, and because it was like the pitch was like a baize style thing.
Right.
What it was made out of. So like baize cloth you might put on the table or whatever. It's made out of that, and that ended up getting moth-eaten and all the rest of it. So in the end, it was just like I think I had a couple of decent bits that I gave to a charity shop, right, and the rest just ended up going in the bin because it's no good to me, right? I never played with it. It was beaten about, they weren't complete.
That's it. You're not of an age as a kid to really look after something like that, are you? If it's fragile like that.
No. It got good use.
I can remember buying a lot of it on my birthday. Yeah. I remember like spending a good £100 on Subbuteo, which I should have just bought a CD player or something like that, I suppose. But
Yeah. No, a lot of my toys ended up getting damaged, right? Just because I don't know if it was I was too rough on them or what it was, but they ended up getting damaged.
I had a lot of Batman figures, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, because those were out in the 90s, weren't they? So you had that toy range, and RoboCop as well. I had a load of RoboCop figures because that series was out in the 90s.
Well, I mean, to show my age, really, I was 14 when I started collecting Masters Universe first of all, and I didn't keep them for many years because I thought I'm too old for this shit. Why am I playing with figures anymore? And then when I started, well, probably like my mid-20s, I started collecting stuff again. Not them, but other stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I had the old Evel Knievel stunt cycle. That was a cool toy. I don't know if you ever saw that.
No.
Basically, toy doll dressed as Evel Knievel on a bike, right? And the bike you slotted into this hand crank, and you went, wound it up, and then press the button, it would shoot off. And then jump, you could make your own jumps and everything and do stunts. Anyway, mine ended up, the handlebars ended up falling off and snapping.
Do you remember Mask of the 80s?
I do. I don't think I ever collected.
Weren't they?
Sorry?
They had figures about that.
Yeah. They weren't massive.
No.
But I thought that, I mean, I never collected them, but I thought the toys were quite cool where they change into these different things and that. Like, what's it, a motorbike that changed into a helicopter or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they had little helmets and things you could put on them as well. I think
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't something I collected. I think a mate of mine had them. He was quite into that. Yeah. Like he was a bit younger than me. So
a lot of my Subbuteo players had broken leg injuries. Nothing. A YouTube.
Yeah.
Two of you who couldn't handle.
Yeah. Oh, mine got tatties. Anything. I mean, they did get fixed, but then they'd break again.
I'm not mistaken, but weren't they made out of metal in the early years?
No. Well, maybe the really early years. The ones I had were definitely plastic, though.
Yeah.
Definitely plastic. Yeah. No, if
They,
they're metal, they probably would have lasted a lot
they
longer.
even had their official little tournaments, didn't they, Subbuteo? And like,
Oh
World Cup,
yeah,
didn't
I think
they?
they still do. I think they
Probably
still
do.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did I have? Oh, the Bionic Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one of them. I had Action Man figures, and I didn't realise that the old Steve Austin, is a bit more heavier than an Action Man, right? So I got an Action Man parachute and chucked him out the window.
Right.
The parachute didn't open properly; his arm fell off.
Yeah.
Well, it's really rough with our toys, but you know that was the thing. Your parents gave them to you. Yeah, they'd be a bit annoyed you broke them, but it's like, well, they got well played with.
Like I remember going around to a friend's house around about 1991.
Yeah.
I was about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7. I can't remember now. Whatever it was. And he was like an only kid. You know, the only son.
Yeah.
And he had his own bedroom, and he just literally had everything.
Yeah, because parents spoiled him rotten.
Yeah, spoiled rotten. He had everything because all the all those Lego pirate ships which were out in the early 90s. He had basically the whole Batman range. You know, he had the Batmobile and the Flyer.
I had mates like that. Yeah.
You know, just
if they wanted it, they got it.
Yeah. I had a few sort of mates like that.
Yeah.
Growing up, who
my mum, my mum and dad, my mum and dad would buy me the old Star Wars figure now and again, but my dad was working full time, my mum was working part time, and I still didn't have enough. Well, I mean, we were all right. We weren't going like desperate, but sometimes we had to have leftovers or whatever from the day before for dinner or something, so stuff like that. So my folks, it was mainly Christmas and birthdays is when we got our main thing.
I played with a stick when I was a kid.
Did you have a hula hoop as well?
Sure, you had more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this kid who was opposite my garden, where his garden linked up to my garden.
Yeah.
And we used to climb each other's fence to sort of enter each other's houses.
Mm.
Anyway, this guy, he was spoiled all the time. His mum and dad used to buy him all the toys when they used to come out. They weren't necessarily for his birthday or anything. Just get him this stuff regularly, and he ended up having all the Power Ranger range, sort of renting it, you know, and used to come over and show us. And my dad used to say, "He's a bloody show off, that boy, isn't he?"
Yeah.
There
was a set of I never got them because I was a bit too old, but my mate's younger brother had them, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was called. It was like this space exploration figures, and they had magnets, and you make a slide, and they would slide along, so like it was its own thing, and they'd hang upside down off the spaceships and stuff.
Standing on a couple of Lego bricks of Lego with my bare feet is where I learned how to swear. It's got to be the most painful experience anyone can have.
Yeah, it is. Either that or an upturned plug.
Yeah.
Bloody killed. Yeah, no, I've done that many a times. And the funnier thing was when your parents stood on it and swore, right? Because you left it in the middle of the floor, and you tidied up, thought you cleared all the stuff away, and with this one little bit of Lego that got loose. Yeah. And I stand on it first thing in the morning. It's like, who left that there?
Lego has to be the greatest toy of all time, hasn't it?
It still is, it still is, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, back when I was collecting Lego, it was mainly just like the standard square blocks, or the 2x4s ones or whatever, and you would they did start introducing things like windows and doors. They had them, and they had these weird, what are supposed to be human figures, which were you had like a body with these like bendy pieces on them, and then like a little yellow. I suppose it's supposed to be a hand. It was like a little yellow circle, so they could hang on to things. This was before minifigures existed,
Yeah.
right? And then you'd have this big plastic head with a wig on,
Yeah.
effectively.
About that sort of tall, weren't they?
Yeah, they're bigger than a minifigure, but
Yeah,
well, they were. It depended on how many, because you could have as many blocks as you wanted onto the bottom of them and make them as tall as you wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're probably about yay big.
Yeah.
Normally.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the 70s, so and then of course I got like the Benny from the Lego movies.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I had the original space stuff.
Yeah.
So what he basically came from.
The original, the early Lego was scaled a lot smaller, wasn't it? It was made a lot smaller because it was supposed to fit in with the likes of your die-cast cars and your Hornby train set.
I think
that's
so.
why
yeah.
It was smaller. But then when the minifigure came out, the little minifigure,
they did change
everything.
It,
they changed it after then. Everything had to be bigger.
I think it was all still compatible.
Oh yeah.
I think the main blocks have all, certainly as far as I know, the main square blocks and the rectangular blocks stayed the same, but it was like all the other bits and pieces. So
everything had to accommodate the minifigure size, didn't it?
Yeah. So the doors were bigger, the windows were bigger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because you weren't even supposed to really put figures in the houses when you did them. That was for like again like the diorama style thing. So you might have a kitchen or whatever with the people stood around the kitchen or something like that, But the minifigures changed it completely.
I mean, that older Lego has a charm in itself, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do like the minifigures. I did go through a phase of buying Lego for a while. And I've not really kept any of the sets, but I've kept the figures that came with them.
Yeah.
And like they did like the Simpsons ones and stuff like that. So I've got like the blind bags.
Yeah.
But I've not bought any of them in ages. I've got so many now, and it's just I bought a bunch of Lego blocks so I can make a staircase style thing, and then stick all my little minifigures on each layer.
Yeah.
And even that wasn't enough space, so now I just stopped.
In the early 2000s, like I don't know, I would have been sort of in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I brought a box of Technic because I thought I fancy building something,
Technic.
I brought this F1 Ferrari Technic vehicle.
Oh, yes, I know the stuff you mean. Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's like maybe that was probably the first one they ever did of that sort of size,
Yeah.
Lego. It came out of, I think it was Lego Racers or something like that. And I went to look up that model fairly recently, which I owned back then, and it goes for over like 300 odd quid.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Well, the new kits aren't exactly cheap, are they?
No.
So it's sort of like, it's a collect, especially if again, if you've got the box and everything.
Yeah. I think if it's themed like Ferrari or something like that, then it's gonna hold its value, isn't it?
Because that's the thing, there never used to be any licenses. It was just all their own stuff. Lego City, Lego Space.
That's right.
I think Pirates, Knights.
It would have been around in 2000 where they started branching out to other franchises.
Well, the Star Wars one is obviously what really kicked it off.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because then you got all the video games and everything as well.
Yeah.
I got bored with those after a while.
The games.
Yeah, they were all right when you started, but then they like any old franchise they could come up with. It's like, oh yeah, we do a Lego version of it,
In my opinion, there's too many franchises they've invested in.
Yeah.
You know.
I do like the I'd never be able to afford it, and I wouldn't buy it anyway, even if I could. But it was the upside down place from Stranger Things. That was kind of cool.
All right. Yeah.
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 That was a well thought out little thing.
I can remember in the 2000s, my mate was buying Harry Potter Lego. I turned him on to it. It wasn't something I was personally collecting. But I said to him once, there's a Lego range with Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
And he's, oh, is there? I said, yeah, next time we're out, I'll show you. And I showed him like this box set. And I said, look, if you're interested in this. And he took to it straight away. And then he started buying the next box set. Then he was on to the next one. And I said, look, Nick, I said, keep the boxes because if you bin them, it will lose its value. Keep everything. I don't think he did. No. But this was a good old 20-odd years ago now. Those sets would have been worth a lot of money.
Yeah, well, they would have been. I mean, if I got the Lego, obviously you build it and you put it together and you display it, right? Otherwise, otherwise it's just bricks in a box, right? Yeah, it might accumulate money, and a lot of people do that. They buy these sets to get the money on them, and that's the only reason they buy them. But no, it's there to be used. It's there to be, put together.
I wouldn't say not to use it. I was just saying keep the boxes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that as well. Just be, the only thing is some of them, the way you open them, you have to tear into the box.
Yeah.
That's the only issue.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful how you do it.
Yeah.
But people have done it with, I don't know if they're still a big thing. Richard might know this, right? Because he's a bit older than me. Like Dinky Toys. I don't know if they're still collectible.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because they were a massive thing. They were for ages.
I think
go on, sorry.
I think maybe some of these older toys, they might sort of lose a bit of interest, as the years go by.
It's possible. I suppose I suppose you can say the same with records of certain artists.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? People just don't want to know.
Yeah. So let's say the next 20 years, what interest is there going to be regarding Dinky Toys, or you know what I mean? What I'm saying, don't you? On certain things.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm collecting now, right, with the Funkos, interest in that is beginning to wane. People aren't buying them like they used to, even though, like every month, Funko are I don't know, 50 odd bloody new figures or something stupid. Right?
Well, it's peaked, hasn't it? It's peaked. Now it's
yeah. Look what happens with Beanie Babies. Are Beanie Babies worth anything now?
No.
They used to sell for stupid amounts of money. Absolutely ridiculous. The main thing that does seem to keep is the things that are value is what we were saying the other week about retro gaming, right?
Yeah.
Especially the old consoles, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about so much things like the Spectrum or the Amiga or anything like that, but certainly the consoles like the SNES, the NES and the Mega Drive. Master System. I think
I'd say it's more the games, Jason, than it is the consoles. Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. But although
I gave up after a while. I kind of got what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was getting to a point where I'm just throwing a load of money into like an old game, and it's just it burnt me out after a while. After a few years of collecting, I can't keep up with this. So
Well,
I eased off and I sort of went into vinyl, like I told
yeah,
you.
yeah. Well, I collected comics for about 20 odd years, and then just stopped because I thought, when am I going to get? You know, I had them all in like wooden boxes and boarded and bagged and all the rest of it. I thought, I'm never going to get to read these again.
This is it. This is it, isn't it?
I mean, I must have had about 3,000 comics at one point.
Yeah.
In the end, I sold a lot of them, and that paid for a holiday for me to go to the States.
Yeah.
So that was good, or part of it anyway. I've still got some left.
When I was going through like my DVDs and stuff, I think I'm probably never going to watch this again.
No.
You know, maybe for another 5 years or so, I might have a bit of interest in it. But I thought, what's the point of keeping it?
Yeah. Well, even my Star Wars box set that I've got on Blu-ray, I've not watched that in ages.
Yeah.
And I've got no real, as much as I love Star Wars on this, I'm afraid, especially Empire being probably my favorite film of all time.
Yeah.
I got other things I'm doing, there's newer shows, or there's this out, there's that out, or I'm doing something to do with YouTube, or I'm going out with mates or something. It's just not that bothered. I probably will watch it again at some point, but just not anytime soon.
No.
And
you can't keep rewatching movies, can you? I mean, how often do you watch the same movie? What, every couple of years, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe a year at most. It's not like music where you can just go to and listen to it on the fly as and when you want to over again. You go back to it. Movies is very different, isn't it?
Well, especially now when they're so blooming long.
You have to be in the mood to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not all the time.
I'll still go and see movies. I still go to cinema and all the rest of it. But that's because it's new.
Yeah.
Or as soon as it comes out on streaming, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Right? But then I've watched it.
But once you've watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's like something there where, someone says, "Oh, by the way, did you see the bit in so and so and so and so?" I'm like, "Oh no, I must have missed that bit."
Yeah.
Right, because some little hidden dude or whatever, and then you'll go back and you might have another look.
Yeah, you have to give it enough time where you've forgotten certain parts, maybe.
Yeah.
And revisit it. Yeah.
Well, I'm damn certain that the version of Star Wars that I had on VHS, and I think I've still got it, on VHS tape, was different to the one that they showed on TV.
Probably was.
Yeah. No, this is before all the George Lucas faffed around with it. It was just seemed different because I thought, I don't remember that in the film. I don't remember seeing that in the cinema.
Well, they would have cut it out, wouldn't they, on TV?
Yeah. Or there was bits that was cut out one version that they had in the other version. It's like, no, I don't remember that character. Who's that character? What was he doing? I don't remember that.
I even noticed from stuff on TV, which I recorded on tape back in the day, that they would even edit to a point where they may even dub over certain people.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it was bad language or something like that. But they would use a little segment of a sound or a voice or something, and they'll dub over.
The classic one for that, we were saying about RoboCop, right? I remember when it first premiered on British TV, right? Now you got to remember that this was, I'm pretty sure it was on after 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
And they still dubbed the expletives. So the bit where the bloke's in the shop, he's held it up, RoboCop waltzes in and he smacks him into the fridge or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he's using the F word, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Hey, all he says is forget you. And I'm thinking, oh, good. And they did it with Axel F. I can't remember what they said, but you know when he's speaking to Serge,
Yes. Yeah.
right? Yeah, when instead of get that out of it, they said something else, and
Yeah.
it's just like this is bloody stupid.
I've watched a movie where I think they've dubbed on the actual DVD,
Yeah,
because
it's quite possible.
I've watched Crocodile Dundee, right? I had it
Yeah,
I recorded it and I watched it before and whatever. And you know the bit where he meets those two girls in
all
New
right,
York,
yeah.
and
Oh yes, yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that pimp comes along, doesn't he? He says, "You know what are you doing here? You know, you're gonna talk all night. Or you gonna screw one of them?" He says.
yeah, something like that.
But
Yeah,
he mouths the F word,
yeah, yeah,
you know, and it's obvious. And on the DVD, he says screw. But when I recorded it
yeah,
from like the TV, he says the F word, which fits.
yeah.
That is, I mean, that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I would have thought by the time DVDs came out, it wouldn't have been. I mean, it wouldn't have been such a big deal, right? I can understand if it was like, if they'd done on a VHS tape, say, and they'd done it right because they
Yeah,
wanted it to fit within a certain target audience at the time,
yeah.
then yeah, I can semi understand that, but not on DVD.
No, I know.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Unless that's the only copy they can find to get the remaster from.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm convinced that he says the F word. You know, he's like,
Yeah,
he clearly, he's not saying screw. He says fuck, basically.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
why did they do that? You know, why don't
no
we get
idea.
the original uncut version? Which,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, there probably is now. There probably is now. Especially if you got it on Blu-ray or a reissued DVD, you'd probably find it is as you
there's
remember it.
probably versions of films which are edited for TV.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's only the only
yeah.
thing I can kind of think. You know, there's the full theatrical version.
It wasn't a something that ripped off the television. Was it? It was an original. I take it.
Yeah, it's on the original DVD they did of the first
Yeah,
Crocodile Dundee,
yeah.
yeah.
But you know what I mean. What I mean is something you bought in a shop. It wasn't some bloke down the pub sold it to you.
No, it's a legit.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Because then I would be like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
No, because I know. Obviously, as time's gone on, the censors have got less and less worried about the F word, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because now you can watch a 12, right?
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
it's have an F, maybe only a couple, right?
Yeah.
But have an F word in it. The one I remember is it wasn't a very good film. You had Get Shorty, which was the original,
Yeah.
and there was it Be Cool or something like that was the follow up.
Right.
Whatever it was called anyway. Get Shorty's a great film, but the
Right.
follow up was a bit crap. Anyway, there's basically a joke in it, right? Where they're getting ready to do making their own film, and they said, oh yeah, no, it's 12 certificates now. You can saying fuck in sorry, I actually said it once in a movie. So it's like a joke about it, about how the censorships worked.
Yeah.
And then they never say the word again, which is again, which is the joke.
The RoboCop franchise, the first movie was very adult, and the second one was very, very violent. But the third one was a PG.
Was it?
It was, I believe, on a cinema release. But then
I'd have to check my box set to be sure on that.
It came out on VHS, and I bought it when it came out on release. It was 15.
Maybe that's what it was.
The film has no F word in it, I don't think, to my knowledge.
Wouldn't.
Uh,
I've
but
not watched it in a long time.
but then I brought the Blu-ray trilogy. It's
Yeah.
an 18.
Is it?
Yeah.
Have
Blu-ray. Blu-ray.
Yeah, but yeah, go on. Sorry.
Blu-ray done it. Every time they release a movie, they revise it on its certificate. So it's gone from like a PG to a 15 to an 18, and it's not a very adult movie. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if they'd done, you know, if you buy the box set and the box set says 18 on the box set, that's understandable because obviously the first film was an 18.
Yeah,
but not for the individual films.
Individual. It was on. It's on
that's
weird.
The disc.
It's on the disc.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's not a. I mean, I've borrowed. I mean, when I had the VHS, I went round to like my mates' houses and said, "Look, even say to their mum that this movie is no way it's a 15. It's got no, not a lot of bad language. Certainly doesn't have the F word to my knowledge." And like they okayed it and played it in front of their kids, and it was fine. You know what I mean? It's such a.
Well, they ended up doing that cartoon series, didn't they? In the end, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
And if I remember rightly, the cartoon series lacks the humour of the first movie.
I think now things aren't just rated regarding sex, bad language, and violence.
Yeah.
I think it's how PC certain things are.
Well, yeah, I did wonder about that. Yeah,
I think that comes into the equation now with when it comes to the certificate.
I don't know. I mean, there was, I don't know. I don't know. They might have had. Did it have hookers or anything in there, or sort of?
It did, yeah.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
It wasn't deemed as anything at the time because I thought, well, kids won't understand that. But kids are a lot more switched on these days.
Yeah. It goes around the city, doesn't it? And you see certain crimes and things going on.
Yeah.
But nothing really.
It's just sensitive material, shall we say?
Yeah, I never understand it. Why the over
and other things get past the censors and they don't say a damn thing.
Yeah.
What used to make me laugh, right? Now this is really funny, right? There was some movie on TV anyway, and my mate had seen it, recorded it, because it had boobies in it, basically, right? And his mum found out, and she had a right go at him and said, "Oh, not watching that film, right, or the rest of it, or words to that effect." Don't quote me on that exactly what she said, but Jackie Chan or anything like that, or Arnold Schwarzenegger going around shooting everyone and sundry. Oh, that's fine. You can watch that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hang on a minute. You're going on about something that's the most natural thing in the world, right? And it was like, it's done slightly smuttier from what I remember. I don't even know what the film was. I couldn't tell you, right? He just wanted to show me boobies on TV. We're only about 13, 14.
I kind of understand it. I get it as a parent.
But, it's like I thought it would be more steer away from violence than the other bit.
I think that is more sensitive to people than the violence.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. It's weird, but it did make me laugh though when she had a go at him. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
She said, he had to erase the tape and everything.
Really?
In fact, he might. I mean, we're talking years ago because that's like 40 odd years ago. So I really don't remember. I mean, he might have even had to have thrown the tape in the bin for all I know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But she definitely wasn't allowed to keep it.
My parents didn't seem to mind buy me a copy of RoboCop when I was like
Yeah.
6 years old.
Yeah.
But anything with tits in it or like
It's weird, isn't it?
completely forbidden, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And you better never look at the top shelf in the video store. That was a no-no.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it's weird. It's weird. The other thing as well is well, yeah. Talking of which, right? Not smutty movies, right? What was the first 18 movie you ever saw? Do you reckon?
Probably was
And
RoboCop.
how old do you think you were?
Probably RoboCop.
It was RoboCop.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I saw the first one I saw. I think it was about. Yeah, it's probably about 14 then as well. I can't remember. No, maybe 16. I can't remember when it came out. Was Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando?
Oh yeah.
Right, and we actually rented that from the video shop.
Yeah.
And then when we took it back, we got told off because
My
we tried to get another 18 certificate, and they wouldn't let us have it that time.
When I was very young, I used to live in a village, and my dad worked and my mum worked. My mum used to sort of clean for certain houses and things.
Oh yeah.
And when I was off school, she had to take me and Matthew, my brother, with her on occasions. Anyway, this time it was just me because I think I was poorly or whatever the reason, and I basically had to sit there in the place and just wait for my mum to finish cleaning the house. But this certain place had their own front room and TV and that. And I used to say, "Look, I'm gonna put the TV on, Mum," and she'll be fine with it, you know. She'd just go off and do her cleaning.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a video in the cassette player, and I was like, "Well, you know, I'll play it, you know, and see what this is about, you know." And it was RoboCop, and and I was just, I wasn't like, I was fascinated with it. I was like, oh. You know, the ultra violence in it was so over the top, and the RoboCop and the Ed 209. I was like, this is like the best movie ever.
Yeah,
and I'm still convinced it is the best movie ever made.
It's a damn good movie.
You know,
I do like it a lot. I do enjoy it.
I've never topped that experience. You know, there's been great movies I've watched, but there's never been a movie I was so hooked on it and impressed with at such a young age, you know.
I think that's the thing, right? It's what sticks in your head from when you're a youngster, right?
Yeah.
Because okay, I started sort of seeing films when I was about 7-ish, maybe 6, 7, right? And because we had a cinema down in Eastleigh at the time, we got one again now. But it was quite a small one, you know, not one of these multiplexes or anything. They didn't come in for ages.
Yeah.
And I saw stuff like Herbie Goes Bananas, Grease. Yeah. That was when it came out. I didn't know what Grease was about. I had no clue what it was about when I saw it.
Yeah.
And there's a heck of a lot of sexual references in that.
There is.
You know, I didn't have a clue. The Rescuers, which was like a Disney film. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah. So I saw that. But the main one I remember seeing, we were up in London, and all my mates had seen Star Wars, and they were talking about it. And I saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which was really good.
Yeah,
I still like that movie. Yeah, I still like that movie.
Yeah,
but no, it's the Star Wars one that left a lasting impression on for me. Because there's I think I must have still been 70, but it was 78 when I saw it, right? And it was I thought I'd missed it, right? Because it had done the rounds down near me, and that was it. And then it was doing the second round up in London, and we happened to be in London. We were just like day visit, right? And I said, Dad, I really want to see that movie. I want to see that movie. So instead of doing the sightseeing, which we were supposed to be doing, we ended up watching Star Wars.
Yeah.
And there's 7-year-old me watching this star. You know, everyone says it. This Star Destroyer go past, and it just keeps going and going and going, and I'm like, you know, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what. But obviously, Empire, when I got older, stuck with me more because it was darker, and it introduces my favourite character, which is Boba Fett.
Right. Right.
Even though he doesn't say a lot and he doesn't do a lot, he's still one of my favourite character.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's very much early memories. I think a lot of people say that, right? I don't know who's still in chat watching or people watching on repeat, but maybe that's something. You know, what is your earliest memory of a film, and do you still count that as one of your favourites? Because that'd be interesting to know whether that's just, that's just us being us, and that's how we are, or other people remember them when the films they first saw, and that's they think the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there's one of my mates one of the first films he ever saw was The Crow.
Yeah.
And it's still one of his favourite films.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think if it impresses you at an early age, it stays with you.
Yeah, it does.
Because like I never had that joy or that experience like I've had, or that first time of watching that movie. I mean, yeah, I've enjoyed movies, but never to that extent at a young age, because I think at a young age like that, it's a new experience, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a heightened experience.
Yeah.
I
mean, it can't be necessarily any old film, but it's something that just captures your imagination.
Yeah, yeah.
The first real film you think, I enjoyed the other films I saw beforehand, but that was the one that's like, yeah, even Close Encounters, that kind of as good as it was, like Star Wars was just that much more impressive.
It dragged on a bit, that film, didn't it? I think.
Well, Close Encounters.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. The bit for me, right? I don't ask me what it was. It was probably early Dolby, something like that, with the sound, right? And the end sequence where they're playing the stuff on the keyboard and the spaceship's effectively talking back to them, right? Yeah. That, because it was so bloody loud, it gave me a headache. It was, or at least it seemed loud to me at the time. And again, I wasn't very old then. I was probably about, I think that was a similar sort of time, wasn't it? About 77, 78, something like that.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't remember which came out first, to be honest.
I can't.
No. But, it's just that anything that's immersive, and then RoboCop is definitely an immersive film because there's a heck of a lot going on.
There is.
And the effects for the time, maybe they look a bit hokey now, right? But the effects for the time were brilliant.
They still hold up well, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Eddie 209, you can definitely tell it's stop motion.
Oh, yeah, you can with that, yeah.
But it was very well done.
I'd rather see that than the CGI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like the hard work they used to put in movies in the 80s.
It's all practical effects, isn't it?
All that animatronics they used to use.
Yeah.
I mean, they really worked on these productions.
Yeah.
The craft which they put in, and to just see it masked over with a CGI picture, it's just not the same.
Yeah, no. Well, it was all matte paintings, wasn't it?
Matte painting,
backdrops and stuff.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But, there was nothing going on. It was just a still image.
Yeah,
it all been hand done.
There's quite a few of those in RoboCop. Looking at those buildings and stuff. A lot of those were pictures of actual buildings that filmed in Dallas, but they would matte paint certain parts of the building to look more futuristic.
I I mean, practical effects still get used. I mean, even in the later Star Wars films, some of it was still practical effects. You know the scene where they have the pod race,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And they've got all these people in the crowd. Now you can't see any faces; you just see all these coloured specks, if you like, making up the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know how that was done?
No.
Q-tips,
Right.
all dipped in different coloured paint, and then put through, and then they're shaken or whatever it was. It's on the DVD set, right, or
Yeah.
the Blu-ray set, whatever it is, right? And yeah, but so it still gets used to an extent.
Yeah.
There's still places for it, and stunts is another thing seems to have come back in now, rather than having these big, Michael Bay explosions that are all done CGI and everything.
Yes.
They're all done for real.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen The Fall Guy yet?
Don't think so.
Right. Based on the old TV show. Right.
Right.
That all the stunts and that are done by humans. Every single one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they wanted it to be authentic. Because it's about a stuntman anyway.
Yeah.
So they wanted, it's like, well, yeah, we've got to do them. We've got to do them legit, right? And I used to love. They'd have them on, so like Saturday morning sometimes, or whatever. The stunt shows, like all the stuff from Hollywood American. They'd show how all the stunts were done and everything. They were brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of what's missing from current movies is that, like you say, the practical effects, someone actually taking time to build a model, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, some of them looked a bit hokey, but it was still cool because someone's actually taken the time to sit there for months and months and months, going from the original artist sketch and getting all the bits together and building it from scratch, painting it, and then of course blowing it up. You spent all that time making that model only to blow it up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Another
good movie, I think, which is good for its age, is The Thing.
Never seen it, and I'm not big on horror, so.
Right. Well, it's got a load of like stuff going on where they use animatronics and rubber monsters and things, and it's just for its age. I think it was late 70s movie. I think.
Yeah.
You think, wow, this is impressive. For that age, that time to do that.
If it's I have seen some gory stuff. I mean, The Boys is pretty gory, right? But that's more like limbs and stuff. It's not insides, which is what puts me off, right? Yeah. And the bit from Alien, right, where with the chest burst, the initial chest burst was a bit gruesome for me, right? Certainly at the time, if I watched it now, I probably wouldn't be as phased. But at the time, I thought that's horrible, and I won't watch stuff like Freddy Krueger or anything like that because that's. I don't mind being scared. I've got no problem with being scared. I don't mind having my head messed with, right? Right, with like weird things going on, like make you say what the f, right? But when it comes to straight out, let's show somebody's eggshells hanging out, or they've got their, Freddy Krueger's doing the old puppet thing with the nerve endings. It's like, no, I don't want to know.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me,
No, but I've been like that, a bit squeamish with things like that.
All right.
Yeah. Admittedly, when I first saw RoboCop, the bit where he's laying on the slab with all the bullet holes in him.
Yeah.
That was a bit sort of right. And I never used to be able to watch the bit with the hand getting blown off. It's to cover my eyes.
It never
But
bothered.
it's like, yeah, but the thing is, it's so quick, you don't see anything.
It is quick, yeah.
You don't see anything, right?
But a lot of that was cut out, wasn't it, when it came onto like VHS? The actual movie itself, because you see they shoot him in the hand, and then you see his arm completely gone. But the director's cut, he actually loses his arm as well. That gets shot off.
Oh right, I thought it was just his hand.
No, his hand gets blown off.
Yeah,
and then he gets shot a few more times.
Then the arm comes off. Yeah,
and then he's screaming, and then he gets shot to pieces, basically. Yeah. But that was taken out on the director's cut because it was so violent.
Yeah.
The authorities will say, you got to tone it down. You got to tone it down.
But no, the thing, how horrific is it? Because I know it's meant to be a very good film, right? And from the storyline purposes, I'd probably enjoy it. But it's like I don't really want to sit there and be grossed out. Do you know what I mean?
It was supposed to be. Paul Verhoeven's films are very violent. He loves violence and he loves sex.
Yeah.
He's even admitted this, like, on interviews and stuff. And he was trying to. The whole thing is a revenge movie, and he wanted to do a crucifixion of Jesus, and that's what he wanted to do. That's what he wanted to portray on screen.
So, right. So the film, right. Oh, the only bit I've ever seen about it really is these people or whatever, they got somebody's corpse or something on the table, right? And the chest cavity gives way or something, and they get their hands bitten off by the creature.
That's the thing. That's the movie I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's what I'm on about. Is that gory?
Well, yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. That's the thing is the story interests me, but it's I wouldn't necessarily sit there and watch it.
No.
I was surprised I sat through Aliens, to be honest with you. And I quite like it. I prefer Aliens, and I like Predator as well. And Predator's quite gruesome.
Yeah. I mean, both
I wasn't bothered by it.
Are quite intense films, aren't they? It's not just the gore of those movies. It's the intense feeling of that this thing is out there and it's going to kill you. Within no time.
Yeah. But no, it's that's something that's gonna be weird. I'm not gonna buy it because it looks crap, right? But there's supposed to be a Funko game coming out, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's all Paramount licenses. That's why they're allowed to do it, right? But they've got the thing is featured in it, right? Of all things, Chucky's featured in it.
Yeah.
And you've also got Masters of the Universe and all that lot in it. So I don't know how that's going to work.
I think watching The Predator at a young age done me some psychological damage, and I'm being honest here.
You do? Really?
I do, yeah, seriously.
All right, okay.
I've had countless nightmares as I've got older. Not now, but like in the past.
Yeah.
Of being like this with this killer alien trying to sort of kill me, and
Yeah. Well,
and
I suppose
it's really terrifying,
Yeah.
Wake up in sweats and that, it's affecting my brain.
Yeah. But again, I mean, how old were you when you saw that one?
7, 8.
Yeah. See, there you go. That's it.
The
little brain can't. You're telling yourself it's a movie, right? But the brain is like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially at a young age, you're quite impressionable then, aren't you? So
You are. Yeah, you are.
I remember my mate telling me about him seeing Nightmare on Elm Street when he was young.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and he was scared. Yeah, well, we use the word. He was scared shitless of Freddy, right?
Yeah.
And he was, was frightened to go to sleep because he was
Yeah.
afraid Freddy was going to come and visit him in his dreams.
But that first one is best.
Yeah.
It gets a bit kooky after then, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's not something I've seen. I know of them.
Yeah. Well, they've done so many. Freddy.
Yeah, they did,
Freddy becomes the hero. You get after so many sequels, because they did a music video.
Yeah.
With Freddy, you become a fan of Freddy after so many.
You want to see what he's going to do next.
Yeah. Who's going to kill?
Yeah, you got all these annoying teenagers and that. Just kill them already.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it turns into after so many of watching the sequels.
Yeah, because a lot of the. I'd imagine a lot of the characters in those movies didn't have much redeemable qualities anyway.
No, but that's
like, no, kill him.
That's often seen in his later movies, Scream, isn't it? Yeah. It's the same Wes Craven, isn't it? And you often see a lot of like dicks get slaughtered, and you're quite, I'm glad he died because he was a bit of a knob sort of thing, Yeah. You often get that now in movies.
Well, wasn't Saw some of the people in that like quite horrible people?
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
I mean, I've not seen them, but it's just like because just because I've not seen a movie doesn't mean I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the stories do intrigue me, right? But sometimes I'm of the impression that less is more. So it's what you don't see, which is more scary than what you do see.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So, chat's gone very quiet.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you get people watching this back on replay and that.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, people will tune in and flick through.
Yeah. No, but as I was saying, there are movies that if I had a stronger stomach, yes, I would probably watch.
Yeah.
Just because the storyline intrigues me. And as we said, some of the violent movies I've seen, right, are pretty damn violent.
I can watch violence and that's fine, but I find a struggle with horror movies.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I watched a movie, The Fourth Kind, and I thought that was.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Freaking frightening movie. And I said to my dad at the time, I said, this movie is great, but it's something else.
Yeah.
It's quite scary. And he's okay. I'll go and watch it. And after he watched it, he said, "Oh, Simon, that movie, Jesus Christ!" I said, "I know," because it's supposed to be based on true events as well, which is makes it even more creepy,
Well, I shall tell you one of the movies that it did. It when I first saw it, I mean, a bloody brilliant film, but it chilled me to the bone when I first saw it.
Yeah.
Platoon.
Yeah.
Because it's real life events and it's what those people do, right? Which is horrific, isn't it?
That where he gets his head bashed in with the butt of the gun.
Yeah. And it's just some civilian.
Yeah.
Because because basically the bloke's lost his mind.
Yeah. He was just a psycho, wasn't he?
Yeah. And it was just like, it was harrowing, right?
It was, yeah.
But that's why it makes it a good film.
Yeah.
And I don't like war movies as a rule.
That was a particularly harrowing scene, wasn't it? Because you see the bits of blood and brain on him, and it's like, I can't believe he just done that.
And he's laughing about it as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And the other, Charlie Sheen's character's like, what the have I just witnessed?
Yeah.
And the thing is, he can't even say anything about it.
No.
You know. But yeah, it's just it's messed up. But no, it's it's a really good film.
Have you seen Casualties of War?
Have I seen
Casualties of War?
I don't think so. No.
It's got Sean Penn in it and Michael J. Fox.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about the Vietnam War, but it's about a girl, a Vietnamese girl. They kidnap and they do things to her.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
And yeah, it's kind of harrowing, and it's
yeah,
it's good though, you know.
Yeah,
based on true event, I think.
Yeah, I can well imagine things that people did.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's why a lot of the obviously a lot of people didn't want them there in the first place, and that was including the Americans, right? And because of the atrocities that were being caused, there's the old Paul Hardcastle film.
Yeah.
And Paul Hardcastle song 19, and they said none of them received a hero's welcome.
No.
And that's why, because of what the things that were done. And not all of them did it, but everyone got tarred with the same brush.
The best Vietnam film for me is Full Metal Jacket.
I do quite like that. I wouldn't say it sounds good, but I do like it.
You don't think it's good as Platoon?
Probably not. It's good. I do. I saw it for the first time not that many years ago, actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was just one I never got around to doing it. And everyone said, no, you've got to watch it. It's good. And it is good, and I do like it. Right? The Sergeant Major or whatever, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? That's quite a messed up film as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well, movies are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he kills the Sergeant Major gets killed, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's a movie of two halves, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I found actually.
Yeah. It's a movie of two halves.
Yeah. You do get some of these films, and they start one way and then they go on a completely different tangent. And it's like you wonder if it's two different directors, but no, it's just the way the film goes. Sometimes it is two different directors. It's like, I'll do the first time.
They filmed that in London, did you know?
Really?
Really, yeah.
Oh, blimey, yeah.
Yeah, the second part where you go into the old derelict buildings and stuff, that was filmed in London. Yeah. Don't know whereabouts.
Oh, there's been isn't there been a new studio built somewhere over here? I can't remember where it is. My nephew told me about it. New film studio.
Possibly.
I can't remember. Because, I told you, didn't I? My nephew he's a cinematographer.
Yeah.
And he's away in Dublin at the moment. And is it Malpractice or something like that? It's the second season of that he's doing.
Right.
Yeah. So he's sort of up with all that kind of thing, because he goes all over the place. I mean, where was it he got back from? Argentina or something like that. He was in recently.
Right.
Just filming. Yeah, he's. I wouldn't say he's done anything. Well, no, the probably biggest thing he did was House of Dragons.
Right.
Or whatever it's called. The Game of Thrones sequel.
Never watched.
He did. He did a number. He did a number of episodes. I think he did about 7 episodes on that. He worked on. Right. That was just as a cameraman though.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he's done quite a bit. But no, he did tell me there was a new studio that had opened up somewhere. So I think we're getting a lot more stuff being made down here again. Because you had was it Elm Tree and Pinewood Studios and that?
Pinewood Studios, yeah, that's what done
Yeah.
James Bond and all that. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, that still gets used a lot.
yeah.
And wasn't it the Solo movie that was filmed over here?
Solo could have
They
been.
had Solo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure they
Yeah.
said, because there was a thing in a paper about it, and they had the big model of the Millennium Falcon.
Right.
That basically, I don't think there was anything inside. It was just so they could do exterior shots, so people walking onto the craft and that. But they had this great big Millennium Falcon out in the parking lot or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just I mean, I'd be interested to see what they do, because if that's the case, he should get a lot more work. That's what we're hoping anyway. The only problem is now, technically speaking, he's now living in Australia.
Right.
He's moved back over there with his wife. But he comes over now and again. Obviously, if he's got shoots on or whatever, then he stays with my mum and dad.
Okay.
So it makes it a bit easier, rather than hotels or whatever. If he's just got to drive up or whatever, for London, then it's not a big deal.
I was talking to my brother a little while ago, and we got on the subject of talking about the series Bottom. Yeah, because
I didn't like that. Yeah,
quotes and that from it and have a laugh. And
Yeah.
he said, I wouldn't mind going to that bench where they start fighting, on the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you do stuff like you do stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if we will get a chance to do so.
I'm guessing it's down in Hammersmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the one I was going to talk about is I've sorted out my holiday for Canada next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I've been to Calgary, and where they had one of the Olympic ceremonies. I've been to that, stood on the little platform thing they had. So I've been to that. But the one I wouldn't mind doing is having a look to find out where. And I can never remember. Kurt Cobain, was he buried or was he cremated?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, because I'd be interested to see where it was that he, it was. I sort of like to look into it. I'm not a massive Nirvana fan.
I think he was buried. I think he was buried.
Yeah, I can't remember. But if he was, right, then it'd be nice to sort of find out where that was. Just as a bit of pop culture history.
Yeah.
So things like that. We're probably gonna have a good look around Washington anyway, and I'm probably gonna visit the Funko headquarters whilst we're at it. But no, things like so going to do things like that, bits that have a certain historical significance. Even if it is something like a park bench somewhere. I've been to the Cavern in where the Beatles first played.
Kurt Cobain was cremated. His ashes were scattered to the Pacific winds into
right. So he hasn't got a grave. Yeah.
Therefore, anyone wishing to honour Cobain cannot visit the gravesite.
No, that's fair enough then. Okay. I did wonder. I knew I'd heard somewhere about it, because a lot of people say no, he's buried. And I thought, I'm sure that he was cremated.
Yeah. Cremated.
Yeah. But no, what was I saying? I don't know. Gone. Are you knackered, sir?
Not really. Just yawning.
I know idea what the time is.
It's got 11.
Yeah, I've got to finish the video in a bit. Just the it's only take me about 15 minutes to finish off, but they're doing my 1982 part 1.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, there's some interesting songs in there. Right, I can.
Those early 80s years are fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's yeah, but as I said, you know what I'm doing is stuff that didn't get in.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just give you a little bit of a spoiler. Actually, I mean, I don't know when you'll get to see it or whatever, but so the one that really stands out that didn't chart was "I Ran" by a Flock of Seagulls.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah, number 43,
yeah. I mentioned
which
that
is
to you. Didn't
yeah, I think you did, yeah.
I? Yeah,
But it's just weird. And
yeah.
then what else have you got? Uh, well, Our Lips Are Sealed by the Go-Go's never charted, which surprised me because the Fun Boy 3 version got the charts. But yeah, just saying it's become really weird what I'm finding that doesn't get in. And I've decided I may want to try and get a Jay Giles band album. If you remember them,
Who? Sorry,
the Jay Giles band.
Jay Giles band.
Yeah. Freeze Frame Centerfold was another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Hungry Eyes didn't chart very well at all. I don't think it did chart. I don't think it did chart, but it was quite a big hit.
Who was that one by again? I've forgotten.
Oh, I have to look it up now.
Yeah. You have to remind me. I know there's some title. I can't think who it's by.
Eric Carmen. It's from Dirty Dancing.
Oh, right. Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Peter brought the album for that song.
Well, that was where was it? Where was it? There was some song. There was ones from movies, right? That didn't get in. That I've got coming up. Oh, crikey! I can't find it now.
Well-known song, but didn't chart. I don't think.
Yeah. Oh, you've got your That Simply Red album.
Yeah.
Right, the original of Money's Too Tight to Mention, which I didn't even know was a cover, that never charted.
Really?
Yeah, number 73 by a band called the Valentine Bros.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, where's that song? Oh, Maniac. That was it. Maniac never charted. Do you remember that song?
Yeah, me.
Yeah, that never charted.
No.
And there was another one as well. So, there we are. Far From Over by Frank Stallone, and I can't remember where that's from, but that never charted either.
Right.
It's weird. There's some, really sort of like well-known songs, and they just never got anywhere.
The 80s was a tough nut to crack, I think, in the charts.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very much into 90s music more than anything else. But there's a lot of decent 80s stuff out there.
Of course there is. Yeah, it was a great decade.
There is, yeah.
It was a great decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably more 90s and 2000s, I think, It's my go-to.
Well, it's Brit-rock.
I love the 60s and I love the 80s.
Yeah. I know, it's just, but I mean, I think, well, as we've discovered, right, I think, and I think you find this as you get older, even going back to the 50s, right, there was some far superior songs in, that didn't make the top 40 than, say, like, got to number one.
Yeah.
Which we've had this, I think we've had this discussion before, saying that, half the time, the great British public doesn't seem to know what they're buying.
It's what's in front of them, what they go for. If it's available, then they'll go for it. If it's hard to acquire, they're not going to go for it. It's promotional. It's what's promoted.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
how poorly promoted Buddy Holly songs were, and how good of a songs they were, but they
Yeah.
didn't hit the number one necessarily.
No,
He
no.
might have had multiple songs in the charts
Yeah.
at the same time, but they should have been right up there. So
Yeah, yeah.
you don't always get justice for
No.
certain music.
I think, and again, I think a lot of these bands, the bands that people remember, right, are the ones that perhaps didn't do so well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, whether you like them, whether you don't, right. Look at Kiss, right? They didn't have very many hits over here.
No.
Yeah, they do have a big following here, right?
Oh,
if they're touring, people, I'm going to see Kiss.
Yeah.
Well,
look at AC/DC, how their songs charted over here.
Yeah.
They're barely top 20.
Well, the Bon Scott stuff, didn't really get anywhere at all.
Yeah.
Which is a crime.
They're a Scottish band. I know people say they're an Australian band because they emigrated, but they're originally from Scotland. You know, the main singer now is,
well, he's a Brummie.
He's a Brummie, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there is British in them.
Yeah. But it was very much, obviously they started in Australia, and I think that was the thing. And the singles that did come through, when they did come through, they were 2 or 3 years later after they'd come out in Australia.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
I'm thinking about doing another series of albums which are unappreciated.
Yes. Yeah.
Overlooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have a look at that, mate, because I suspect there's probably some that I know of.
I expect there is. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a comment actually on one of the videos, and it's someone I know quite well, right? I don't know whether he's watching, but a channel called Key Tons of Fun. He's a guy that does videos with his son. Nothing to do with music, just like fun family videos and that. But he was saying about Adam and the Ants, because I put an Adam and the Ants. And he said, no, just didn't know of them, and that's because they did virtually nothing in America.
No.
Right. It was only when he went solo that I think, and even then he only had 2 minor hits, which was Goody Two Shoes, and then many years later, Room at the Top. And the rest of his stuff and the Adam Ant stuff did pretty much nothing. I think the albums did better, but yeah, no, it'd be good to see what you get for that. Albums that are underappreciated, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'm working on it, thinking of a few albums and sort of.
Yeah, take a bit of research, but
yeah, it's taken me a bit of research of certain things.
Is this just from your own personal collection, or is this albums as a whole? So you might not even own them.
It's from my own collection. I might have to acquire the odd album.
Yeah.
And
that's a good excuse.
I've been looking at. I thought I must have it in my collection, and I've realised I haven't got it. So I'm gonna have to get some of them, But some of them are on my want list anyway. So
a friend of mine and I was tempted to do this, right? I don't know how well. He does it reasonably well. He got one of these posters, right? And it's 100 top must-see movies.
Yeah.
And they've all got a number, and you basically scratch off a panel, and it tells you what's underneath, and you go and watch that movie. There's a movie to go and watch, and he's been doing it, and then reviewing them on his channel, right? So he did like Trip to the Moon, right, which is a 1920s or whatever it was when that came out. Only a 15-minute movie. We reviewed that. He's done like the Die Hard trilogy, and The Great Escape was another one. So that I wondered if there was something similar to that, but for records, for albums. I know you get all these lists anyway, and you get books with a list in, don't you, and all sorts. But I wondered if there was an actual poster done in the same way. Well, that might be interesting to explore.
It's different with music, though, isn't it? Because it's not a visual thing, is it?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
You get these videos where you get the reaction videos, don't you?
Yeah. Well, this isn't so much a reaction. It's more sort of like he's watched it and then he talks about it.
Right.
So it's a general view. So like, I thought this movie was good. Oh yeah, you ought to go and see it.
Well, Ian's doing a similar idea to like where you propose 3 albums and you get the rest of us to listen to them and check them out. I mean, some of them probably not heard them before.
Yeah, but this is more albums to listen to before you die, if you get my meaning.
A bucket list, basically, of albums.
Yeah.
Or movies, rather.
Yeah.
So,
but no, it's just something I was thinking of. But then I've got loads of ideas, and I'll probably never do anything with them because there's too much else going on. You know what I mean?
You're all over the place, aren't you, Jason? Movies.
Oh, they're just ideas like
video games.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like what I feel like doing at the time.
Yeah, I think it helps to be a niche, doesn't it?
Yeah, my channel's always been like that though. It's like it's a little bit of not everyone's going to watch every video because there's some stuff about that, there's some stuff about the other. I could quite easily set up another channel just about music, but because I've been doing it for so long now, 8 years, and I've got under 700 subs, but people know me. They know what I'm doing. I'm not. I think it'd be difficult to start from scratch again.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why.
I get that.
And if people get entertained by one thing that I do, they again they might not like the other, but that's fine. It's their prerogative. And not even the videos that I'm releasing at the moment are getting the same viewers all the time. They're not.
No, they fluctuate, don't they?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So, and there's no, we've tried to work out between us, haven't we? Trying to work out what, why it works the way it does, and there's no logic to it.
I think yes and no. You got to have the right thumbnail with the right subject.
Yeah.
And I've seen these sort of videos been put out in the VC, and it's normally a title that draws you in, which piques an interest.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something which hasn't been often spoken about or touched upon before.
Yeah.
Or it's just a curiosity thing. Well, how did he get on, sort of thing. So I want to click on the video and find out.
Yeah.
Just out of interest.
Yeah.
But it has to sort of press the right buttons.
Oh yeah. But when you've got a video, right? Okay, just for sake of argument, so I've got one video, right? That's got close to 3K under the radar. I've got another video that's got 200 and something. Yeah. Exactly the same format. The only thing that's different on them are the songs. So why, like I said, why is that? That's what I don't get. And I do a similar thumbnail for each one.
Right.
So that shouldn't come into it.
Right.
You see what I mean?
No,
exactly. Yeah.
There's more of an interest in those particular songs than the others. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. But no, I mean, I'm just gonna carry on doing what I'm doing anyway. So I'm happy making them. If people get a kick out of it, great. If they don't,
Exactly. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, does it? Does it? Because
no.
it's about you. It's your channel. It's your
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
It's your
Well,
opinions. It's your
yeah.
taste. You
I
know.
don't. But the thing, what I don't want to do is, I say, whilst it's my channel, and it is, I don't want to become too self-indulgent with it. If that makes sense.
I think you have to be.
Yeah, maybe.
You have to be.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it for other people, you're not going to want to do it so much because your passion won't be in it as much. You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be
Oh
something
no,
that has to drive you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would never make a video if I wasn't passionate about it.
You have to have an element of passion and an element of interest.
Oh yeah.
You know.
But no, it's just you do some ideas and they don't work, so you think, is it worth doing that anymore? I had a couple of ideas, and on paper they look great, right? But then when I've done them, it's like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to do any more of those.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I don't want to come across as being. All right, you said about self-indulgence, but you're saying you have to, right? But that's not my nature. I don't, or narcissistic. I don't really, the spotlight's got to be on me, right? Because it's not about me. It's about whatever the content is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're the driving force behind it, though, aren't
you? Yeah. But you do, I don't want to ever be down that route because you get some of these channels and they get too big for their boots. They really do.
Yeah, but you're not like that, though, are you?
No, I know, but then some of these people possibly didn't start out like that. That's just the way it's gone, and it's affected them.
Yeah, they've got sucked in to the whole. Well, I can give up my job now and become a full-time YouTuber. You know, they're completely absorbed by it.
Yeah.
It's for us. It's hobby. It's a hobby. It doesn't matter. It's a hobby. This is not. It's not life-changing.
No.
So I won't worry about that.
No. But just just me. I'm not an egotist.
It's clear that you're not, Jason.
And I don't ever want to be.
No.
Yeah, but no, anyway, we go back to what you said about your video. We got away from the subject there. Yeah, I'll say I definitely look forward to seeing what you do with that.
Got any suggestions? Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think yours and mine tastes are quite different. Some stuff we do cross over with, but I think our tastes are quite different.
Yeah, I need it to be kind of in the realms of my own tastes,
Yeah. I mean, if I think of any ways you can do it, but I think, are you going to do one album a week or?
No,
or do it all in one video.
Like a top 10, or a 10. It doesn't have to be ranked or anything of albums which are overlooked, underappreciated.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly albums that I could recommend to you, but whether you'd want to include them or not, it's another kettle of fish entirely.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you got a few particular albums which you think should make the list, let us know.
Well, there is one that immediately springs to mind, right? But I can't know because it's included in Ian's thing, so I can't really.
Right.
Unfortunately, I can't say because it duplicates it. thinking
Well,
about it.
you tell me off air or
Well,
something.
it was Airhead Boeing.
Right.
Very, I mean, it didn't even do that well. They had a couple of top 40 hits, and they only ever did the one album.
Right.
But it was, if you like it was a tail end of the sort of Manchester scene, right? And it's a sort of bit baggy and a bit sort of Brit poppy.
Yeah.
Definitely got a 60s feel to it, 60s, 70s feel to it. So
Yeah. Right.
yeah, just but if you've never heard it before, you may sort of think, oh well, yeah, okay, it's just another album.
It sounds a little bit too under the radar. I
know that's
need it to be sort of a bit more well known, as in the band needs to be quite clearly known. You know.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is maybe at some point, is I'll have a look and see what I've got, and then sort of like, because obviously when you're saying underappreciated, it's like it didn't do very well in the charts or just people although it's known, sort of people, just not many people mention it.
Yeah, in that kind of yeah. But a
it
good
wouldn't be any. It wouldn't be, Pet Sounds obviously wouldn't be any good because loads of people know that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
albums which didn't get necessarily their just deserves, which maybe they should have done.
Yeah,
something which was overlooked, and its greatness is underappreciated, or something like that.
Yeah. I'll have to have a think, because it's I'm not. I've never been one for like remembering numbers of where an album got. I just know, I like that album.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'll have to have a think about it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
But the old. No, I just thought if there's anything that does come up that I think you might pique your interest, shall we say?
Yeah, you think of something else. No. Anyway, I'm going to shut it down now. It's we're going over 3 hours today.
Really? Blimey. Yeah. Well, it talks about anything and everything tonight, haven't we? Pretty much.
Again, yeah.
Nice happens. I do hope Ian and Light will. Don't get me wrong. It's fun, the two of us chatting, right? But when there's more people, there's more input going on.
Of course,
and more ideas to bounce off each other.
Yeah, I think he'll be back next week, and
yeah, I appreciate it with the heat and everything. It's been exhausting.
Yeah. Summer it tends to quieten down a bit. I noticed. All right.
Right, mate.
Righto.
We'll say goodbye to the people on the channel.
Yep.
If you're still here.
Adios. See you next week.
Bye
for now.